Yeah, but you're all dark and twisty inside.
Dark and twisty.
I'm not happy and bubbly. I'm dark and cloudy.
If I murdered someone, she's the person I'd call to help me drag the corpse across the living room floor.
At Dark and Twisties, we know that some people don't particularly like the episodes containing banter.
So for those who prefer a more serious retelling, we bring you Dark and Twisty Minis. The following may contain graphic content, so listener discretion is advised. On June 27, 2000, 16-year-old Molly Bish was dropped off at her lifeguard station by her mother Maggie before her shift started. 3 hours later, Molly's mother received a phone call from a police officer stating he received several reports in regards to the Commons Pond in Warren not having a lifeguard on duty. Maggie rushed over to her daughter's job and was able to locate some of her belongings on the shore. However, Molly was nowhere to be found. Even though there was no sign of a struggle, police and Molly's family are convinced that she was kidnapped. Maggie recalls seeing a man sitting alone in a white car when she dropped Molly off for work the day before her disappearance. She claims the man's presence made her feel uncomfortable, so she waited until that man left before leaving herself. The man is described as having brown hair, dark eyes, and approximately 50 years old at the time of Molly's disappearance. A sketch was made from the details that Maggie provided about the man's appearance, but despite a thorough investigation being done, the identification of that man has not been made. 3 years after Molly vanished, her body was discovered just 5 miles from the location of the pond where she was working. As her autopsy was conducted, the cause of death could not be determined, but the manner was ruled as homicide. A reward of $100,000 was put up for any information leading to the arrest in connection with Molly Bish's murder. Over the years, there have been several suspects named in Molly Bish's murder, but none of them have ever been charged, leaving the investigation into her death to still be active. It wasn't until June of 2016 where police announced that enhanced DNA testing would be done on 24 different pieces of evidence in connection to Molly's murder. 1 year later, investigators claim that the new information led them to a campground where the car that was used in Molly's abduction was allegedly buried and out of sight. The owner of that vehicle lived at the campground during the time of Molly's abduction, and witnesses state that the man told him that he had been in the woods all night because something bad had happened, and they claim that this was around the same time that Molly had vanished. That man denied any involvement in Molly's murder, and with no substantial evidence linking him, the case goes cold again. 3 years later, a man by the name of Francis Sumner JR was identified as a new person of interest. Police had received many tips about him over the years and were finally able to verify them. Frank Sumner had been convicted of kidnapping and raping a young woman who visited his auto repair shop in 1981. He was granted parole 2 years before Molly's disappearance and lived not too far away from the area that she vanished. Unfortunately, Frank Sumner died in 2016 without ever being charged in this case. Investigators are still looking for more information in hopes of bringing justice to Molly Bish's family. Authorities have asked anyone with information about Molly's kidnapping and death, or anyone with information about Francis Sumner Jr., to call the tip line at 508-453-7575. Head over to our Instagram at Dark and Twisties Podcast, our Facebook page, Dark and Twisties, or our website at www.darkandtwisties.com to see photos of Molly Bish, along with any important links when it comes to her kidnapping and death.